Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the Week 15 edition of the Sunday Sideline Report here on the Sports Insanity Network YouTube channel. Before I get into the introductions, I just want to wish our fellow Jewish listeners a happy Hanukkah. As Mark, tonight at sundown.
Yes, tonight at sundown.
First
Happy
night.
Hanukkah Samecha to all my Jewish and family and friends.
And now you can listen to the Adam Sandler song without feeling bad.
Not at all.
All right. Mike, Mark, and Dan with you, gentlemen. Good morning. How are you?
Happy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm free and careless now because I don't gotta worry about my football team trying to win anything. So, you know, whatever happens, happens, and I get to watch the Dolphins and Cowboys suffer. They're the ones that have to go through the chaos of the playoffs and stuff. So,
Suffer. The Dolphins are on the in the hunt graphic of the playoffs. My
exactly
year is made.
exactly my point, which means that you guys are having the chaos. And look, you guys got to win football games, so it can only be miserable from here, you know?
Look, I'm a Cowboys fan. We are still in it. Yes, we
Sure.
gotta hope the Eagles drop 2 of the next 4 games.
Exactly.
That is more likely than most other things the way Philadelphia is going. So yes, I do have the gripping, heart beating, God damn it, we need to win phase still going.
Exactly.
I expect to be joining Dan in the time to next year phase very soon.
And then you watch everyone else be miserable, trying to make the
Right.
playoffs and win a championship.
Like every time I turn on the screen and that graphic is there with the Miami Dolphins there
With
in the hunt.
Minnesota.
I will say this, Rifkin, going for 4 in a row, that's got to be pretty exciting after starting 1-5 or something? You
Yeah.
know?
Look, they found their way back. I can't get mad. But if they miss the playoffs by a game, I still can't forgive them for the Cleveland Brown debacle. But it is what it is. But we've got other games. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Mark, there's a guy your age who's going to play quarterback today.
I know, man. I am psyched to show that geriatrics can still do it.
We'll get into that. Get into a lot of the bigger games of this week. We do have clinching scenarios, so I'm going to go over those right now. This is from NFL.com. The Denver Broncos could clinch a playoff berth today with a win or losses by the Chargers, Jaguars, Texans, and Colts. The New England Patriots can not only clinch a playoff berth, they can win the AFC East with a win today over the Buffalo Bills.
Who would have had that anywhere right now? Besides Patriots fans.
Mike Vrabel.
He's a Patriot fan, sorry.
And the Rams can clinch a playoff berth with a win today over the Detroit Lions. Is this already the third time Goff and Stafford are going to play each other since the trade?
It sounds about right.
It's less than 5, so yeah.
Yeah.
So those are your clinching scenarios for Week 15. But Week 15 started off with a bang on Thursday night, where the Mark's favorite quarterback of all time, Kirk Cousins, led the Atlanta Falcons to a 29-28 win over the Bucs. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 44, 373 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson went for 93 rushing yards and a touchdown. And Kyle Pitts, this is why they drafted you 4th overall, dude. 11 catches, 166 yards, and 3 touchdowns. For the Bucks, Baker Mayfield, 19 of 34, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. And Mike Evans in his return to the lineup, 6 catches for 132 yards. Atlanta goes to 20. Atlanta goes to 5-9, while the Bucks go to 7-7, and have now fallen out of first place in the NFC South. That is now held by the Carolina Panthers, who can actually win the NFC South with a win today against the Saints and a win next week against these very same Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Mark, this was an epic choke job by the Bucks.
No, I still don't like it. I still hate Kirk Cousins. However, I will give him his just due. He had an excellent game. I'll give him his just due. He had an excellent game. There is no two ways about that. Bijan got back on track with just about 100 yards and a touchdown. Mike already called out Kyle Pitts, who thank God I put active in my fantasy teams. This was an impressive win by Atlanta. It's not a statement win, but it's an impressive win. Good comeback going forward. It keeps them all in the moment. So we'll see how it plays out. But this was a good win for Kirk Cousins. Dan?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it doesn't mean anything for the Falcons, so they're not playing for anything. Um, but yeah, against a divisional opponent, and look, you're trying to have them join y'all. Sorry, night. Yeah, y'all. I mean the Falcons into the non-playoff route because they've been terrible over the last 8 games. So you're playing spoiler. They're trying to make the playoffs. They've been horrible. It's uh it's been really tough to watch Tampa Bay have its downfall. Yes, injuries. Yes, the league has caught up to Baker. They figured him out. Todd Bowles specials. You are superior to so many teams, and you can't get the job done. The typical Bowles, and then of course he had his uh, press conference meltdown. I've never seen Todd Bowles in a press conference throw that many
Yeah.
F-bombs and sugar honey iced teas ever. Like he was that pissed off. So he's feeling it too. So yeah, like it has been a rough time for Tampa Bay, and coach is to blame. But of course, look, the reality of the situation is that they did have a bunch of injuries, but even despite that, like this team should be on its way to a division win, and they can't do that. Coaching, culture, and then look, we for how much we praised him at the beginning of the season, he has taken a massive hit, Baker Mayfield,
Mm-hmm.
over the past 8 games.
Yeah, he has not been good. He threw costly, and the interception was costly. You bring up injuries, but you know what? They've dealt with injuries. They've gotten guys back right now.
Yeah.
I can't use that as an excuse for this one. You're up 14 in the fourth quarter against
Mhm.
a team playing for nothing,
Mhm.
and you're playing for your playoff lives. Because the only way you're getting in is by winning this division.
They're inferior, Mike. They're inferior to them. This has always been Todd Bowles' problem. These are games that you have to win these games. And he never gets the job done. He didn't do it with the Jets, and he's not doing it now. And it has to be frustrating for a Bucks fan. You're watching this team, you're rolling. You're up big. On these game-winning scoring drives that the Falcons had,
Hmm.
you had penalties galore.
Yeah.
They were third and a million, and they're getting first downs. Like, and they're scoring. How can you not stop them?
And by the way, they're without Drake London. So you just got to take away either Pitts or Bijan, and you're in a pretty good situation. To your point on the penalties, I'm just getting the whole numbers up now. The Bucks had four penalties. The Atlanta Falcons won this game committing 19 penalties.
How is that possible? And probably a billion yards too.
125 yards.
Horrible. How do you lose to that, Mark? How do you lose to that?
I don't know. I wish I had more answers for it, but I don't know.
And Mark, you said something at the top, like it's good for Kirk Cousins. I think this is very important for Kirk Cousins, this last stretch of games. Not because of his future in Atlanta, because that's not happening,
For
but
his
his
possible
future in
future somewhere
general.
else.
Right. He might be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. Who knows?
Well, it's gonna take. Yeah, Atlanta's gonna want something, and it ain't gonna come cheap.
Well, Atlanta might have to cut him. Spread out the dead cap, but
I don't see that happening.
hmm, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Tampa Bay next week, they get their first meeting with Carolina, while the Atlanta Falcons will be playing. As I pull it up, the
Okay.
Falcons will be playing the Falcons can't be on. Oh, the Falcons are going to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Battle of the Bids. All right. On to some stuff for today. And we start probably with the big news of the week, and that is the Colts have a new quarterback. Daniel Jones tore his Achilles last week. He underwent successful surgery yesterday. So good luck in your recovery, Daniel Jones. And the Colts have turned to 45-year-old grandpa Philip Rivers, who has not played football since the COVID season of 2020, where he was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Rivers will start today in Seattle against the Seahawks. Good luck, Phil.
This is like throwing dinner to the wolves. I'm sorry. Look. I have nothing against Philip Rivers. I enjoyed watching his tenure play when he was in the NFL. Great quarterback to watch. We're expecting a not Joe Burrow, sorry, Joe Flacco like appearance. Old guy, gonna hopefully air it out. No. Philip Rivers hasn't stepped on a field, and I hope he proves me wrong. I really does. I think you're going to see a very bad beatdown on the Colts today. I don't think this is the wiser move. You can't tell me there wasn't somebody else, and I don't want to hear Colin Kaepernick. I don't want to hear that. There wasn't somebody else with experience they could have had put in. I don't believe in any way they're ready to give up on everything. I think they're worried, but come on. Dan,
I
sorry.
I don't know. He's 44 years old. He hasn't played football, organized football, in 5 years. Um, he's fat. There's all these things that I'm a little concerned about. It just screams desperation. I think we talked about this already. It screams desperation. They're trying to get a spark. They don't trust Riley Leonard. They don't trust Richardson. So they turn to an old ass Hall of Fame bound or was, he's gonna get his clock reset.
Yep.
Um, Quarterback, and it's just like, can this guy move? Like, is he gonna be a statue? I mean, not like he was a big time mobile guy. Like, I don't know. Like, it screams desperation to me. I hope he plays well. I watched Philip Rivers when I was a kid, so it was like, this is a childhood guy for me. So yeah, like I want my childhood heroes to play well. This is a different age in football. You get people who are more athletic, they're faster, they're stronger. Like it, it's a different league.
How he's going to recover from taking a hit, may it be
Yeah.
as minor. I mean, we're not talking full blast, but we're talking a minor hit. How is he going to, we're going to see how he's going to be able to respond to it. As Mike said, he's a grandpa now. So,
And he hasn't played in 5 years. Look, the Colts are still clinging to life or a playoff spot. And if you look at their last 4 games, it's very hard. They get Seattle today, San Francisco next week, then it's the Jags, and then it's the Texans. And look, I think Mark, you and I talked about it a little bit on Tuesday. The Daniel Jones thing sucks because
yeah.
of the year Daniel Jones was having. You kind of have to change your whole offense here because, to Dan's point, Phil Rivers isn't moving.
Mhm.
He's not going to be mobile. Can your offensive line protect him long enough? I mean, and here's the other part. You're going to have to throw the ball because I guarantee what Seattle's game plan is going to be, we're going to load 8, 9, 10 up in the box, and Jonathan Taylor's not getting anything.
And
So
that
they
and that's
told
the
me,
big concern.
yeah,
They're gonna stack the box because you have to figure, like, again, it's the same comment we've all said over and over. He hasn't thrown for in 5 years. So you're gonna stack the box heavy against Jonathan Taylor. And if it's not a play to him and you try play action or whatnot, Seattle knows how to defend against this. I think Rivers is not gonna last the full game. Again, I hope he proves me wrong.
yeah. I don't. I hope he proves us wrong too. I don't think it is a wise decision. So we'll see what happens with Rivers in Seattle today. Um, News out of Pittsburgh this weekend. TJ Watt, star edge rusher, collapsed lung earlier this week, had surgery to repair it. He will not be playing tomorrow night against the Dolphins. So, on some prayers with TJ Watt and the family.
Ooh, yeah,
All right.
that's rough, dude.
It really is. It was kind of random. It just said TJ Watt was going to the hospital with a lung issue. And I was like, oh my, what's going on?
Apparently in last week's game, he took a helmet to the chest, and it's the part of his bone slightly punctured the lung, but
Hmm.
didn't know. It's almost like the Tony Romo injury back around 2016, and so they found it, taking care of it. Thank God. He definitely won't be playing this weekend. And if Pittsburgh's out of it, stay off the field.
Yeah. So, again, thinking of the Watt family, went over the clinching scenarios. All right. Two teams who are kind of in a little bit of a free fall here is Mark's Philadelphia Eagles. And and because he lives in the area, I'm going to give Dan the Ravens here. So,
Good.
Dan, I'm going to go to you first here. Over these next couple of weeks here in the regular season, who do you think's got more pressure on, Jalen Hurts or Lamar?
Hurts. But as a matter of fact, no, I'm gonna change that.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Lamar. The Eagles are fine. You know, okay, they
The Eagles are
may.
fine. Whoa.
Well, I mean, what they're Super Bowl champions. I mean, to me, like I feel like they're not in a pressure situation. You know what it is, Mike? The Eagles fans are spoiled as fuck
Hmm.
because they always want to win. They're always greedy. They like me as a Yankee fan. You know, I always want to win.
Yep.
And everything. They won the Super Bowl. Like they're defending
Sure.
champs. Don't get me wrong, it's great to win. But it's just like, okay, if they have a down year, okay, well, it's not like they're expected to win again. It's a different NFL every single year. So, okay, if they miss out on a championship, so what? For the
Hmm.
Ravens, though, they have not won anything with this group. And they're on the outside looking in. So I think the Ravens have a lot of pressure. It's going to be really tough for them. It's going to be really, really tough. And they have not played well this year. They have not played well this year.
It's very true. Mark.
In this case, I would think it's Jalen Hurts. As you're coming into the final 4 weeks, you can't afford another loss with Dallas that close behind. But don't forget, Dallas still has to win also. You got Philadelphia playing the Raiders today. This is a perfect game for Jalen Hurts to get and company to get that morale boost they so desperately need to not just win this game, but maybe make a statement we can still score points. Again, against the Raiders, that doesn't say much, but it does boost your morale on the team. Lamar against Cincinnati. I believe that's the game today.
Yes.
Um, I think it's gonna be cold there. That much I can say.
Well, I mean, there's snow on the ground.
Uh,
So,
but yeah, but it's also gonna be it's supposed to be like in the negative digits today with the wind chills.
yeah.
I don't really think it's going to be a test of Lamar's legs. This is going to be a test of his vision down the field. With that ball cold and hard, it's going to make it easier to throw.
Okay. I'm going to lean this way. I'm going to lean Lamar for this reason. We spend a lot of time talking about the AFC and how great some of the quarterbacks are. But for Lamar Jackson, if the Ravens make the playoffs, think about this. The Ravens can go into a playoff scenario where they win the AFC North, and they're not going to have to go through Burrow, Mahomes. They may have to go through Josh Allen, but guess what? You're not going to go to Buffalo if New England does their job and wins the AFC East. Buffalo's got to come to you. So if Lamar can handle business and everything's got to come through Baltimore, that's new life for the Ravens. With the Eagles, look, I don't think everything is on Jalen Hurts. Has he played well? Absolutely not. By the way, first player in NFL history, 2 turnovers in the same play.
What a bizarre play.
Yeah,
The,
Jesus.
the Eagles' problems, I think, are deeper than just Jalen Hurts. Kevin Patullo has sucked all year as the offensive coordinator. Everybody knew Saquon wasn't going to have the same year he had this year, just based on 2 things. One, hard to repeat. But two, and more importantly, he was on the Madden cover. We know what happens when you're on the Madden cover. A.J. Brown is somehow they're going to figure that thing out at some point.
Sure.
But they haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
And we're at week 15. And that's what I'm saying. The Eagles things lie deeper. For the Ravens, it's right there in front of you. Go grab it. Although, and I'm going to be blunt here, you should have beaten the Steelers last week. The likely plays a touchdown.
Yes.
And by the way, when the NFL has to call you personally and tell you officials get a play wrong, I got a problem with the NFL, not the Baltimore Ravens.
How about it being called twice in 1 week? They also called the Dallas Cowboys and apologized for the Jason Ferguson mess up.
Dude, NFL
So
officiating has sucked all year.
They
yeah.
suck every year. You guys are just experiencing how bad it is.
No, no.
They always screw up our calls with the Jets.
But you know what, Dan? I think on a national level now, it's getting to the point where it's getting so egregious that the league has to do something. And we talked about this a little bit on the Wishbone podcast this week. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. It's time to just make these guys full time employees.
Yeah, well, full-time employees, but and you also have to have them face the music.
Yeah,
They don't get held accountable ever.
Mhm.
At least umpires get held accountable in baseball. It's not great accountability because, again, just like every league, the refs or the officiating or the umpires, they're gonna hide, and MLB is gonna or NBA or whatever. They're gonna make sure they go into witness protection. But you know what? NBA, they have a pool report.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, MLB, sometimes the umpires come out and they talk. It's not required, but they do. NFL, they go into total hiding with these refs. It's unbelievable how much accountability they don't get.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens if they're gonna screw up a playoff game. Lord have mercy. All right, on to the games of today. Well, this week. We started off with that big one in Foxborough. Bills, Patriots. Patriots when they win the division. Bills win, their division hopes are alive with the sound of music. And Mark, who needs to have the statement game today? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Drake May, or is it off the board?
The weather will play a little bit of effect. I want to make sure everybody understands it will be snowing there. But you want to know what? Go Drake May. I want to see this kid. I mean, I'm sorry, Buffalo fans. I've watched Drake May and Josh Allen play all season. Both have played exceptionally. Both have carried their teams and led their teams to their respectful records. I like this kid, Drake May. I like what he's doing. I like his concentration and his patience when he's throwing the ball. This is a must win for Drake May and the New England Patriots. And everybody knows my gut hatred for New England. So me saying this just churns the butter in my stomach. I think Buffalo is about to be handed a very, very bad taste of medicine, as New England is going to win on both fronts of this game. Dan?
The pressure right now is still on Buffalo
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like Buffalo, I mean, they're trying to climb. The Patriots are chilling. They win the division, which is most likely going to happen. Okay, cool. The Patriots are chilling. They're going to go to playoffs. Like they're fine. And I don't think the Patriots, they don't seem like a team that cares where they are. They just care about getting into the dance. And
Yeah.
once they're in the dance, they can do damage. Um, for Buffalo, it's all about protecting your division, right? So they don't want another loss against a division rival that could cost them the East. And that's that'll be two in a row against the Patriots. I know our buddy named Moser would hate that. Hate that.
He's a diehard Patriot fan, that guy.
Uh, um, no, the pressure's on Buffalo to win. Um, kudos to the Patriots, man. I mean, they're gonna go to the playoffs. They're probably gonna win the division. Nah, I don't think that there's no pressure for the Patriots. Like they're brand spanking new. I don't think it really matters to them where they go. Obviously, if they go in as a wild card, they are go on the road, but that doesn't matter to them. They're a feisty team. Like I think they'll be fine. You know that's the way I see it. Buffalo has to win these games. And they haven't won a lot of games this year against some really good teams. They got some wins, but not crazy wins. And then they also have some really tough losses. So they have to win these games.
I think for the Bills, I think one of the most important things is who's stepping up outside of Josh Allen and James Cook. Who's going to step up offensively? Who's going to make the big play? Is it Shakir? Is it Dalton Kincaid? Who's it going to be for Buffalo offensively? Because what New England is going to have to do, and they contained James Cook in the first meeting, held him to right around 50 yards. Josh Allen as well, 50 yards rushing. And as good as Josh Allen's arm is, and it's a bazooka, you need to see which of these weapons will beat you if you're New England. And on the other side of the ball, if you're New England, it's all about ball control. The more I can limit Josh Allen getting the football, the better chance I have. So I would expect New England to do what you said, Mark. They win the line of scrimmage, they can win the game.
Yep.
And to your point, house money a little bit. Even if they lose this game, they still have a shot at winning the division.
Yep.
So, we'll see what happens there. But
It's going to be a great football game.
it should be a very good one. Snow's already on the ground there in New England. We talked a little bit about this before, but the Ravens look to keep their hopes alive. They're going to Cincinnati. They're going to play a Bengal team. No T. Higgins today and no Trey
Yeah.
Hendrickson. He underwent core muscle surgery. His season's over, as is probably his career as a Bengal.
Yeah.
And then there were the Joe Burrow comments from earlier this week that he basically said, I'm not having a lot of fun. Well, losing sucks, Joe.
It's part of football.
Yeah.
It sucks, and you haven't been a part of it. So it's like, it's not your fault.
No,
Zach Taylor's fault.
You've lost T Higgins due to the concussion, unfortunately. That means they're able to double down on Jamar Chase, and you're not seeing Joe Burrow really being able to spread the ball around a lot, and Chase Brown isn't doing you any help rushing for 30 yards a game. Joe Burrow needs consistency, and he needs a three-prong attack.
Mm. And now with Higgins out, Mike Gesicki becomes a big part of this. Maybe Chase Brown. But there's one person this game is on. And it isn't even Lamar Jackson. It's getting cold out. I need a little bit of a load. Who are you gonna call? Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has to be impactful these last couple of games here for the Ravens. He has to. Because then he's going to open things up for Lamar throwing the ball, Lamar running the ball. Derrick Henry is such a massive key for the Ravens these next couple of weeks. And we know he could do it because he's done it in the playoffs before. Dan, you want to add anything?
I just think that, for the Ravens, obviously, you're not going to get the best quarterback play because he hasn't been great all year. So you're going to have to rely on your receiving game and your running game, mostly your running game to score the points, get the job done. And again, it's a nightmare scenario for Baltimore because you have to win this game. Otherwise, Pittsburgh can really expand on their North lead. And you don't want that if you're Baltimore. You don't. And I have a really bad feeling about this game for them. Ultimately, I think it will result in a win, but I don't know. It's a weird game. It's very weird for them. It's in a tough spot, despite the fact that the Bengals are actually they're in a much poor situation than
Yeah,
them.
the guy on the other side just scares the bejesus out of you.
You know.
I mean, Joe Burrow, not Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor doesn't scare me at
Yeah,
all.
Joe Burrow's always gonna be fine. You know.
Yeah. Then we got a big one in the AFC West. The Chargers go to Arrowhead and could potentially eliminate the Chiefs. And oh boy,
Good old
this
Justin doing it with one hand. You know,
Mhm.
this would be a nice monumentous occasion. I mean, look, yeah, I mean, for Kansas City Chiefs fans probably out there now with their tomahawks angry at me. This would be a nice change for football and definitely would give a little bit more of a change to the outlook for the playoffs for once.
Dan, you got excited before.
Yeah, because the Chiefs are gonna be out of the playoffs. The more I think about it, it's gonna happen. You're talking about a nightmare scenario for the Ravens. This is a nightmare scenario for the Chiefs against the Chargers. They're not going to be division champs. And the game
They're still
last week
alive in the
against
division.
Houston, the game last week against Houston was probably one of the worst displays of football I've ever seen this era of Chiefs football play.
And Mahomes was not good. And then Andy Reid that decision to go for it on fourth
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
one.
He's coaching scared. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like he is coaching not to lose, which
As
is
a coach.
very strange from Andy Reid.
It's funny you mention it because again we had this conversation on Wishbone this week, and it kind of feels like a last dance a little bit for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I don't say that mean like Mahomes is done after this or whatever. But like Travis Kelsey's probably done after the season. Who knows about Chris Jones? And then they're going to kind of have to figure out how to reload. That's kind of what I'm looking at. How are they going to reload next year? Um, and look, some years you're not getting those bounces, and they didn't get bounces this year, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Football's hard. You're not going to get. Look at Minnesota; they got all those crazy wins last year with Darnold. JJ McCarthy comes in, they're on the outside, but I think you're going to see some changes with Kansas City next year. And by the way, they're going to be the team. This is going to be so stupid. We're going to look stupid when we say this. They're going to be so stupid, win out, find their way into the playoffs, and then they're going to find their way to the AFC title game because that's what they're going to do.
Well, that's just Andy Reid's style.
That great mustache.
Uh,
So,
I don't know. Y'all trust it too much. Like, I
no,
don't
no,
know. Like,
I'm
this
just
is
saying,
different.
like, hey, watch this happen.
This to me is different.
It, I'm not going to lie, you're right. All right, we talked about the Colts and the Seahawks. I'm not going to go more in depth on that. We got the Packers and the Broncos in a
Mhm.
huge one. And Mark, this one might be a defensive struggle.
This is look, you got a great Denver defense and you got a great Green Bay defense on all edges, from linemen to cornerbacks on both teams. I don't disagree with Mike. I think this is going to be a game fought in the trenches. Um, I don't think it'll be a very high scoring game. I think you're looking like something 17-14 at the most, but it's not going to be Green Bay who comes out because they are in Mile High. Denver is going to edge it out. Please tell me I'm right on that.
Dan,
Watch out for Green Bay's defense. One of the things that the Broncos have struggled through this season is the defense. Sometimes they run into some good defenses and they are non-existent for like 3 quarters. And sometimes in the fourth quarter they respond, sometimes in the fourth quarter they stay quiet. So I expect Green Bay to give the Broncos fits. I think they may win this game. Or the Broncos may make a fourth quarter run, and then it doesn't matter what they do on defense. 3 quarters, you know, they'll give them fits.
this comes down to me to which quarterback doesn't make the first mistake. Because I get Jordan Love the past couple of games has been awesome. He's good last week against the Bears. He was great on Thanksgiving against the Lions. Bo Nix, and we've seen it multiple times this year, he's gotten up to some slow starts. And if he does that again today against this Packer defense, that's not going to be a good thing for the Denver offense. The Packer pass rush is too good. And Denver's defense is going to hold them in this game. But Bo Nix, this is one you got to win one for the Gipper. And I'm not even saying they have to win the game. You just can't get off to that slow start. All right. Another phenomenal game. I'm not sure how this was a prime time mark, but we got Lions Rams again since the
This
trade.
is the game should be flexed to tonight. No offense to my Cowboys, it's still a playoff implicated game for the Cowboys, but this game should be at your forefront, or even the Green Bay Denver game should be your primetime night game. Uh,
Yeah, this is a
Detroit,
425, right?
yeah,
425.
yeah, you got both those games at 425, and not the audience they deserve. The Detroit Lions have to break through on offense here. Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery have to do what David Montgomery have to do what they've been doing all year, and that is push it for 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1, stuff like that. Make it easy on Goff to go to play action. You have Amon St. Brown almost, I would say, 100% healthy, as he was only limited in one day this week.
Mhm.
James Williams has gotten a lot more confident over the last few weeks. That missing of Sam Laporta still hurts,
Mhm.
but you got a lot of small names. This guy Tesla has had some big key receptions on 3rd down. So Goff has the weapons, but that Los Angeles Rams defense is not a joke. It's a good defense. And flip it back the other way. This is the game. This is the game that's going to show why Matt Stafford is going to win the NFC MVP. He'll fight Jonathan Taylor out for MVP of the league, but Matt Stafford is going up against a very, very weak Detroit secondary.
Mhm.
And you got Devontae Adams and you got Puka Nacua who are on surges. Stafford's gonna have 4 touchdowns today. It's going to be Rams in a not a blowout, but it's not going to be a trenches game. This is going to be a high scoring football game.
Yeah, because on the defensive end for the Lions, it's really the Hutchinson, right? And he has to basically figure out alone because none of his defensive buddies are helping him out how to slow down Stafford because that's your biggest weapon is Stafford for the Rams. So it's figuring out how to slow him down. You already know you can kind of get away with getting not having the running game get off the uh, and everything. So it's concerning for the Rams, or sorry, for the Lions because ultimately it's that pass attack that's going to kill you because of the fact that your secondary situation is just really poor.
And going into that secondary situation, Brian Branch isn't going to play today. This is the
Brutal.
first one he's going to miss off that torn Achilles that he suffered last week
Oh.
against the Cowboys. This is a game where you would have needed Brian Branch
Mm-hmm.
to help those
And that's a
corners
very
who,
big loss.
yeah, who would help those corners. I think a guy who has to have a day for Detroit outside of Aiden Hutchinson is Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell had a couple of big plays last week against Dallas. If he can help in the run game and not let Kyron Williams and Blake Corum run wild, and then kind of make the Rams a little more one dimensional in the passing game, despite the Lions' issues, maybe that opens up Aiden Hutchinson for a play or two, and that could be the difference in this game. The other side of the ball, the Lion offensive line has to have a good day. If they can't pass protect, Jared Verse and company are going to have a field day with Jared Goff. So I'm with you, Mark. I think this will be high scoring. I like the Rams as well. And the Rams right now, they are the best team in football. They do it any way you want it. They are a journey. Any way you want it, that's the way. So we got Rams, Lions. Tonight we got the Vikings and the Cowboys. Both teams clinging to playoff hopes. Loser will be done.
Well, yeah, most likely. Anybody, whichever team loses tonight is most likely out of the playoff.
I still don't know why they didn't flex out of it. Maybe because it's the Cowboys.
Well, and that's the one reason, and it's not a good reason. Look, we know where the Cowboys stand, yada 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 yada, America's team, yada yada yada. It should be the Rams, Detroit, or the Green Bay Denver game should be the game we are watching tonight. Okay, I already know. I believe they flexed next week's game already.
Yeah,
For
some of us are very upset about that.
well, it's not my fault. You're only in the hunt. You know, if you were at the
You're
top of the
barely in
hunt.
the hunt too.
Yeah, but we're America's team. You're the ocean runner.
America's team that hasn't been relevant in 30 years.
32, but thank you. Um,
You've
no,
been irrelevant as long as I've been alive. Think about that.
my dog's sticking its tongue out at you. And also holding one paw up with one nail. So, no, seriously, this is the Dallas Cowboys have a problem, and that's Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs, if you don't know the initial problem, we'll make it very quick. It was the most weirdest thing for an injury, whatnot, at his home. Put him on IR. Was supposed to return last week, didn't. Had a great week of practice, has been kept on IR. There is no love for Trayvon Diggs in the Dallas Cowboys, and this is because Trayvon Diggs was very close with Micah Parsons. And when Micah left, a lot of Trayvon Diggs left with it, and that's not Dallas's problem. It becomes Dallas's problem. It's a Trayvon Diggs problem. Dallas is not just going to cut him. He's got 2 years left at almost 20 million a year. So they're not going to cut him so he can go run to Green Bay. I think he'll end up being, whether he gets played at all at the end of this season, I don't know, but I believe he'll be a trade piece come the offseason. Uh, Otherwise, Minnesota offense. Forget about the running game. There is none. No offense to Aaron Jones and I don't even know who's there, but next to him anymore. This should be a big game for JJ McCarthy, showing to not only insult the Cowboys more, but we've seen how weak the Dallas Cowboys secondary is. And you got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. JJ McCarthy could have a career day today.
He's coming off of a good one last week against Washington. So
Yeah, and you hope that game gives him a little more confidence. Again, Cowboys are better than the Commanders, not on paper, but playing wise here.
mm,
But you hope that that in itself would allow him to be looser and see things better, and because he struggled under this offense.
yeah,
So let's hope that it does that. But with Cowboys, I mean, it's pretty simple, like get to his weak spots, and you're gonna thrive because he cannot get that ball to Jefferson. He hasn't done that pretty well all year. Again,
if
kudos against Washington, but against other teams, it's been a nightmare.
if he gets the ball, Justin Jefferson tonight might be game over.
Well, Justin Jefferson is due. And we've seen what Minnesota receivers have done against Dallas in the past, a la Randy Moss. Justin Jefferson is due a huge game, and this is where he most likely will get it.
Excuse me.
And then Monday night we got the Dolphins and the Steelers. That's big for playoff implications.
Just because they're in the hunt.
Listen, it's also big because of the Steelers and the Ravens are right there too.
Okay. Don Amici and the boys, yes.
By the way,
Don Amici and the quarterback who wants to go and play in Jerusalem, yes.
and Mike McDaniel, I hope you watch the Bills tape against the Steelers. Do that a lot. All right, Mark. You came up with this. So I'm coming to you. I want you to explain why you came up with this topic here for the end.
So, obviously I haven't been in a Super Bowl in over 30 years, meaning the Cowboys, but I have had, plenty of players who have, who I have enjoyed to watch play the game. But I was sitting here thinking, and it's not something we haven't discussed on the network or something we haven't heard on the TV, but top 5 players to never make a Super Bowl.
Make or oh yeah, I thought it was win, but
Yeah, I thought it was win too.
Okay, all right, we can keep it at win a Super Bowl. If that's what I said, fine. I had either word, just got to word change it.
yeah.
To me, I've seen a bunch of stars make it, but there are a lot of ones who haven't. And it comes down to like who deserves to be on this list. And I'm going to start backwards because I know these guys are going to have some of the same ones I am, but I'm going to have some older ones. So I'm going to start off with number 5, and then I'm going to throw it over to these guys, and they'll do their 5, and we'll go on. Dan Marino. Dan Marino, probably one of the best quarterbacks I've seen in my entire lifetime. I saw him drafted. I saw him play his entire career. He got there once, but that was it. Probably one of the best to not be able to hold up that trophy. Mike?
And no, I'll piggyback off Dan Marino. I mean, not his fault he ran into Joe Montana's 49ers and then could never get back because, well, the Dolphins just don't do anything. But you're right. Who had all the passing records before Brady and Manning? It was Dan Marino. So yeah, I'm with you. That he is probably the best to never win one.
Dan.
Bruce Smith. You're talking about a league sack leader and You had four chances. You had four
In a
chances.
row.
Like, come on, man. God, you know who would kill to have four chances, four straight chances at a Super Bowl and you can't win? Like, my God. He's number five for me. I mean, like it was right there for the taking if everyone else cooperates.
Okay, so for number 4, Cincinnati great Anthony Munoz.
Mhm.
Played in 2 great Super Bowls against, like Mike said, the 49ers. That name keeps coming up. And Munoz was good. He had to try to help defend against Montana's famous 92-yard comeback and came short. But Anthony Munoz, a guy who really knew how to play defense. Mike?
I'm gonna go a little bit more modern. LT, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay.
When he in his prime, I don't think I've never seen a better running back in their prime wise. And then when he signed with the Jets, I can't root for the Jets just out of a dislike. Sorry, Dan, but he got so close in some of those AFC title games. It was like that's the guy I want to have win one because he was so dominant. He was so good. And you feel bad for him because those Charger teams were so good, but they would always choke in the playoffs. Oh, and I'll never forget the AFC title game where he's just standing on the sideline in a jacket. And we had to wait till after the game to realize he was playing with like a torn MCL. And that's why he couldn't come back in. LT was the man.
Yeah. Yeah, Tomlinson, he was pretty cool. He was pretty good to watch. It was a good 2 years with the Jets. Junior Seau,
Mm.
20 seasons, he had appeared in two Super Bowls, and his best chance was with that Patriots team that lost to the Giants in Super Bowl 42, 2007. I mean, that was literally his best shot because that Patriots team was so good. I mean, they're good on all facets of football, man. And it was the Giants' late heroics. That was a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just a good game by both teams in that Super Bowl. But that was his chance, and he didn't get his title. One of the greats to ever play his position, and no ring to show for it sucks. It sucks. And of course, God rest his soul. He's one of against some of the best football I've ever seen in my life.
For number 3, one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen play the game, and that's Randy Moss.
Mhm.
I saw Michael Irvin, I saw Jerry Rice, and they were great. I mean, Michael Irvin, one of my favorites, autograph hangs on my wall, but Randy Moss, when he came on the scene and everybody passed on him because of his off-season troubles and whatnot, everybody made a big mistake. This this guy, Randy Moss, was one of the best receivers in football, and not just for just the Minnesota Vikings. He went to the Super Bowl with the New England Patriots twice.
Yep.
Unfortunately, lost. He played
Yeah,
with the Raiders.
who'd that those Patriots teams lose to?
Don't make me say it. Even when he went to the Raiders, he still led the team in receiving yards until finally injury took him out. He's one guy who sorely missed out on a trophy ring. Mike?
I'll go similar. Tony Gonzalez.
Yep, that's a good one.
Tony Gonzalez, like we want to talk about great tight ends. Tony Gonzalez was up there, and he played all those years in Kansas City. Went to Atlanta, and came close. Lost an NFC title game in Atlanta, but the dude, the revolution of the tight end position started with Tony Gonzalez, and then it went into Antonio Gates and Jason Witten, then Gronk, and it is what it is now.
And he was a huge guy, Tony
Yeah.
Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah.
He was massive. He was like buff as hell.
The
Still is.
Falcons had a trio on offense of Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones, and Roddy White. It did get better than that.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm sorry, Dan.
I'm Mark, I'm with you. It's Randy Moss. I mean, to me, the best wide receiver I've ever seen play.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that might be a bit controversial. He was
It's
awesome.
not.
Like he's amazing, dude. Like the best. And he has no ring.
And and that's again another player. Dan and I agree. I mean, if the ball was thrown in the air by Dante Culpepper, you knew where it was headed.
Yeah.
And mind you had Chris Carter playing right on the other side
Yeah.
of him, and all that guy did was catch touchdowns. You know, from number 2, number 99, J.J. Watt.
Mm.
I'm sorry, probably one of the best defensive players that I've watched play the game for his position over the length of time, and the ferocity he brings to the game when he was on the field. You felt that energy, how he got that team hyped up and got them going. JJ was sorely missed. Michael.
No, JJ's a good one. I'll go same number, same position. Jason Taylor.
Okay.
Jason Taylor. And again, phenomenal edge rusher, Hall of Famer like JJ Watt will be. Just spent most of his career on crappy Dolphin teams.
Barry Sanders. Number
I
2
thought
for
that was
me.
going to go with Barry Bonds.
But him too, by the way. Sure won World Series. No, I mean, if 1991 does not happen,
The guy
oh,
had no ligaments. This guy could go
yeah.
in and out. Oh,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watch highlights all the time, dude, because it would have been such a treat to watch him be a running back for any team. He
yeah.
was that explosive. Yeah, man. No, easily number 2 for me. Like he's such a great player.
Yeah, Dan brought up my number 1, so I had to back up. Barry Sanders was my number 1.
Yeah.
Uh, and this one is a little bit older, but these guys didn't get to see him play. I did, and I've met him a couple of times, and that's Eric Dickerson. Eric
Mm.
Dickerson was one of the first running backs to set the 2,000-yard mark. He was one of the first really reception running back combinations in the NFL. One of the best to really receive the ball out of the backfield and probably the best take it from the quarterback. So Eric Dickerson, one of the Hall of Fame greats, not to have a ring, would be my number 1.
Yeah, Barry Sanders was a really good one. I'm going to go a little under the radar. Tim Brown.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Tim Brown, the ultimate Raider. I think now, if you look at Tim Brown's numbers, I think you could sit here and say he was underrated. He was a part of a Super Bowl, did go to the Super Bowl with the 02 Raiders, him and Jerry Rice. But he was Mr. Raider. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was a guy who could just take anything to the house. And he
Mhm.
was so good and he was so consistent. Tim Brown.
That Tecmo Bowl team with Tim Brown, Bo Jackson, and Marcus Allen, man, no, you ran that game. No one was allowed to play Oakland as Oakland. You had to hope you didn't even get put up against them against the computer.
I'm going with your number 5s, Dan Marino.
Yeah.
His passing ability was unbelievable. Fact that he was a late first round pick still kills me because the Jets passed on him. No, no, look, he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time and has nothing to show for it other than records that were broken and um, you know, Dolphins teams that just really couldn't get it done. So,
Yeah.
number one for me is Dan Marino.
All right. So we'll wrap this up as we wrap up every week. Mark, fantasy player of the day.
My fantasy player of the day, and it is absolutely so deserved, is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to show why Detroit should be taken seriously, and it's going to get through that Rams defensive line. So my money is on Jahmyr Gibbs today. 2 touchdowns, one receiving, one rushing.
Dan?
I'm going to go with the Packers defense. And
Ooh.
if you're looking for an individual player,
Oh, no,
Micah,
I'll take the Packer defense.
Micah
Mhm.
Parsons. But the
Micah
Packers
Parsons.
defense is my official pick.
You know, we talked about the position of tight end before with Tony Gonzalez. You know, with one of the better tight ends of today, George Kittle.
Okay.
He's become the guy for Brock Purdy. So, and with the news on Brandon Ayuk
Oh,
that he's not coming back, which is not a good thing.
How horrible is that?
other rumors have surfaced that Debo Samuel is recruiting him to Washington.
Yeah. Oh, please. No thanks.
Well, Jaden Daniels, I believe, played with him in college at Arizona
Yeah.
State. So that might be a situation. All right. That'll do it for the week 15 edition here, the Sunday Sideline Report here on the SIN YouTube channel. Check us out every Sunday around 10 a.m. We're live and we'll preview the week ahead. Dan and Bill will be live tomorrow with SIP.
Always.
Mark and I will be live Tuesday, giving you the recap of the week ahead. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on the socials. Twitter, Insanity Real. Facebook, The Sports Insanity Network. Check out the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Right, blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Everyone, stay warm,
Mhm.
stay hydrated, and
Mhm.
watch football.
Mhm.
Bye, Bill.